Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your brain, the most powerful tool you own, is running on empty. You struggle to focus, forget important details, feel overwhelmed, and every decision seems heavier than it should. How did this happen? Did someone steal your clarity, your creativity, your mental energy? The truth is, no one did. It wasn't taken from you. You simply allowed it to be drained. Every day, we unknowingly sabotage our own minds. We scroll endlessly through our phones, binge on processed foods, push our brains to multitask, and chase productivity at the expense of rest. We think these habits are harmless, even normal, yet they quietly erode our memory, focus, and emotional balance. Did you know that chronic lack of sleep, constant digital distractions, and negative influences don't just make you tired? They physically impair your brain, shrinking areas responsible for memory and decision-making. Shocking, isn't it? Now, imagine if you could reclaim your mental clarity, not by adding more to your already overloaded to-do list, but by intentionally deciding what not to do. What if protecting your brain was as simple as saying no to the habits, thoughts, and distractions that silently sabotage your mind every single day? Today, I want to take you on a journey to uncover the hidden threats to your mental power and reveal the simple, life-changing rules that can protect your most precious asset, your brain. By the end of this talk, you won't just understand what damages your mind. You'll feel compelled to take action, to stop doing the things that drain your energy, and to finally honor the one organ that governs every thought, every feeling, and every action you take. Are you ready to discover your not to do list for brain health and reclaim the clarity, focus, and potential that's always been inside you? Sleep is not a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of brain health and performance. When we think about productivity, success, or mental sharpness, most people focus on what they can do. Drink more coffee, read more books, hustle harder. But few realize that one of the most powerful things you can do for your mind is simply to rest it. In our fast-paced world, sleep is often the first thing we sacrifice and the last thing we protect. Yet every time we trade sleep for extra work or screen time, we make a deal that costs us focus, memory, and creativity in the long run. When you sleep, your brain doesn't shut off. It switches into maintenance mode. During deep sleep, your brain literally washes itself. It's like pressing the reset button on your mental system. There's a cleaning process called the glymphatic system, which clears away toxins and waste that build up during the day. One of these toxins is beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. When you don't sleep enough, your brain can't clean properly, and over time, this buildup affects memory, mood, and mental clarity. So sleep is not lost time, it's investment time for your brain. Sleep also plays a vital role in learning and memory. Think of your brain as a sponge. It absorbs information during the day, but it needs sleep to wring out unnecessary details and store what matters. During REM sleep, the stage when you dream, your brain connects new knowledge with what you already know, strengthening creativity and problem-solving skills. That's why some of your best ideas come after a good night's rest or even after a short nap. Now let's talk about what happens when you don't get enough sleep. Even losing 1 or 2 hours can significantly impact your reaction time, decision-making, and emotional balance. Sleep deprivation makes your brain operate as if it's under the influence of alcohol. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focused logic and impulse control, slows down while the amygdala, the emotional center, goes into overdrive. That's why when you're tired, you're more irritable, more impulsive, and less patient. You might reach for junk food, make poor decisions, or procrastinate on meaningful work because your brain is simply not operating at full capacity. And yet, despite all this evidence, most people still treat sleep like an inconvenience. They stay up late scrolling through social media, watching one more episode, or working on tasks that could easily wait until morning. It's as if we've glorified exhaustion, wearing sleeplessness as a badge of honor. But burnout is not a symbol of success, it's a signal of imbalance. True high performance is not about doing more, but about doing better. And you can't do better if your brain is running on empty. Creating healthy sleep habits is one of the most effective ways to upgrade your mental performance. Start by setting a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. This helps your body's circadian rhythm stay balanced. Avoid screens at least an hour before bed because the blue light from your phone tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Try reading, meditating, or writing a gratitude list instead. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. Your brain associates these cues with rest and recovery. And if you can get sunlight early in the morning, it resets your body clock and helps you fall asleep easier at night. Think of sleep as your superpower. Every night, have the opportunity to recharge your mental battery, strengthen your memory, and boost your mood. When you wake up fully rested, you don't just think better, you feel better. You become more patient, more focused, and more creative. The world rewards action, but the brain rewards restoration. Sleep is where your brain sharpens itself for the challenges of tomorrow. So don't sacrifice sleep for short-term gains. Protect it like your most valuable asset, because that's exactly what it is. Success tomorrow begins with the sleep you get tonight. What you feed your body fuels your life, but what you feed your brain shapes your thoughts, emotions, and potential. The brain may only make up about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes over 20% of your body's energy. Every thought, every decision, every creative spark. Each one depends on the quality of the fuel you provide. If you feed your brain junk, it's like filling a high-performance engine with cheap, contaminated fuel. It may run for a while, but sooner or later, it sputters, slows down, and breaks down. We often talk about what to eat to stay fit, but rarely about what to eat to stay focused. The truth is, your diet doesn't just affect your body. It has a direct and powerful impact on your mind. Processed foods, refined sugars, and artificial ingredients disrupt your brain's ability to communicate effectively. They cause spikes and crashes in blood sugar, leading to mood swings, fatigue, and brain fog. You might have noticed that after eating a heavy, unhealthy meal, it's harder to think clearly or stay motivated. That's not just coincidence, it's chemistry. The brain is made up largely of fat, nearly 60% of it. This means it thrives on healthy fats like omega-3s, which are found in foods such as salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds. These fats help build flexible cell membranes, allowing brain cells to communicate quickly and efficiently. Without them, signals slow down, focus wavers, and memory fades. Similarly, antioxidants found in berries, dark chocolate, and leafy greens help protect the brain from oxidative stress, the same stress that ages your cells and dulls your thinking over time. What many people don't realize is that the gut and the brain are deeply connected. Scientists call it the gut-brain axis. About 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for happiness and mood regulation, is produced in your gut. When your gut health is poor, your mood suffers, your focus drops, and your mental energy declines. So the next time you feel anxious or unmotivated, it might not be your mindset. It might be your meal plan. Avoiding junk food isn't just about losing weight. It's about lifting mental fog and restoring emotional balance. One of the biggest culprits in damaging brain health is sugar. Sugar gives a temporary rush, but leads to a steep crash afterward. Over time, high sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance in the brain, which is now being linked to cognitive decline and even Alzheimer's disease. It's been called type 3 diabetes for a reason. Instead of reaching for candy or soda when you need a boost, choose foods that sustain energy, like nuts, seeds, fruit, and green tea. These nourish your neurons without sending your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. Caffeine, too, is a double-edged sword. While a moderate amount can enhance alertness, too much overstimulates your nervous system and disrupts sleep, which in turn harms memory and learning. The key is balance. Use caffeine as a tool, not a crutch. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. Your brain is mostly water, and even slight dehydration can reduce focus and processing speed. Every meal is an opportunity to either feed your brain or fatigue it. Imagine your future self sharper, calmer, more creative. That version of you depends on the choices you make 3 times a day. Eating consciously is an act of self-respect for your brain. You wouldn't pour dirty fuel into a luxury car. Treat your brain with the same level of care and precision. Start small, replace sugary drinks with water or green tea, swap chips for almonds or blueberries, and add more colorful vegetables to your plate. Over time, you'll notice the difference. Clearer thoughts, steadier energy, and improved mood. Your brain is your greatest asset. It deserves premium fuel. When you eat right, you don't just live longer, you live sharper. What you put on your plate today becomes your thoughts tomorrow. So feed your brain like it matters, because it does. A brain that isn't challenged is a brain that begins to stagnate. Many people underestimate the importance of continuously engaging their mind, assuming that learning ends after school or that the mental effort required for daily work is enough. But the truth is, mental stimulation is like exercise for your brain. Without it, cognitive abilities weaken over time, memory dulls, and creativity diminishes. Just as a body that sits still loses strength and flexibility, a brain that isn't actively exercised loses sharpness, focus, and the ability to adapt to new situations. Every time you learn something new, your brain forms new connections between neurons, strengthening existing pathways and creating fresh ones. This process, called neuroplasticity, is how your mind grows and adapts throughout life. It doesn't matter whether it's learning a language, picking up an instrument, exploring a new hobby, or even challenging yourself with puzzles and mental games. Every act of learning strengthens your brain's resilience and capacity to handle complex problems. Conversely, if you stop exposing your mind to new experiences, your neural pathways weaken, making it harder to think creatively, solve problems, or remember information. The danger of mental complacency is subtle because it creeps in slowly. You might feel comfortable sticking to routines and repeating the same habits every day. You go to work, return home, watch television, scroll through social media, and sleep. There's nothing wrong with routine, but when your brain isn't challenged, it operates on autopilot. Autopilot may feel easy, but it doesn't stimulate growth. It doesn't create new ideas or help you innovate. Your mind begins to shrink in terms of mental agility, adaptability, and curiosity. Novelty is the key to keeping the brain active. Engaging in new experiences forces your mind to adapt, problem solve, and make connections between old knowledge and new information. Even small changes like taking a different route to work, reading books outside your usual genre, or learning a new skill create an environment where your brain thrives. Novelty keeps your neurons firing, your focus sharp, and your creativity alive. It's like keeping a muscle in use. When you lift it, it grows stronger. When you don't, it weakens. Another essential aspect of mental stimulation is challenging yourself to think critically rather than passively consuming information. Watching shows or scrolling social media provides temporary distraction but doesn't build mental endurance. Instead, active engagement, asking questions, analyzing ideas, and seeking deeper understanding strengthens cognitive function. Writing, debating, and reflecting on ideas also help your brain to organize thoughts more effectively, improving memory, problem solving, and decision making. Learning isn't limited to academics or career-related tasks. It's about cultivating curiosity and approaching life as a playground for your mind. Trying new recipes, exploring different cultures, or learning a craft can all challenge your brain in ways that textbooks never could. Even mistakes are valuable. When you fail or face difficulty, your brain works harder to adapt, forming new connections that strengthen your mental resilience. Avoiding challenges might feel safer, but it deprives your mind of the growth it craves. Mental growth also combats age-related cognitive decline. Studies show that people who continuously learn and challenge themselves are less likely to experience memory loss or dementia later in life. Your brain remains flexible, capable, and vibrant because it has been exercised regularly. Just like a body that is physically fit, a brain that is mentally active maintains its strength, endurance, and agility. The message is clear. Never stop learning. Make it a habit to expose yourself to new ideas, develop skills, and challenge your mind daily. Comfort and routine may feel easy, but they don't build brilliance. A vibrant, healthy brain is one that is curious, engaged, and continuously growing. By refusing to stay mentally idle, you ensure that your mind remains sharp, creative, and ready to tackle the challenges and opportunities of life. The brain isn't fixed. It is dynamic, resilient, and capable of lifelong growth, but only if you actively nourish it with new experiences and learning. In today's fast-paced world, multitasking is often praised as a sign of efficiency and productivity. We wear it like a badge of honor, bragging about checking emails while on a call, cooking dinner while helping kids with homework, and scrolling through social media while trying to finish work reports. But science tells a very different story. Multitasking doesn't make you more productive. It actually diminishes your brain's performance, wastes time, and increases stress. The human brain is designed to focus on one task at a time. When we attempt to split our attention across multiple tasks, we're not truly multitasking. We're rapidly switching between tasks, which burns more mental energy and reduces the quality of our work. Every time you switch tasks, your brain experiences a cognitive cost. This is the mental energy required to stop thinking about one task and start thinking about another. It might feel seamless in the moment, but over time, this constant switching slows your processing speed, decreases accuracy, and reduces retention. Studies show that people who frequently multitask perform worse on memory tests and problem-solving tasks compared to those who focus on one thing at a time. What's more, multitasking increases stress hormones like cortisol, leaving you feeling mentally fatigued and emotionally drained by the end of the day. When you multitask, you also rob yourself of deep focus. True productivity and creativity come from immersive, undistracted work. This state of flow allows your brain to make connections, solve problems efficiently, and generate innovative ideas. Shallow focus, which is what multitasking creates, leads to incomplete understanding, errors, and a lack of satisfaction in your accomplishments. You may finish many small tasks, but meaningful work that requires thought, strategy, and creativity suffers. Our modern technology culture encourages multitasking like never before. Notifications, messages, emails, and social media alerts constantly pull our attention in different directions. We feel compelled to respond instantly, believing that staying on top of everything is necessary. But this constant interruption fractures our focus and diminishes the brain's ability to process information deeply. It's like trying to watch 5 movies at once. You don't fully enjoy any of them, and you probably remember very little. The solution lies in embracing single tasking. Single tasking is the intentional practice of dedicating your full attention to one activity at a time. This simple shift transforms productivity, learning, and mental clarity. Start small by focusing on one email, one conversation, or one project at a time. Set boundaries with distraction, silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and create dedicated blocks of time for uninterrupted work. The results are immediate. You'll notice higher quality output, faster progress, and a calmer, more focused mind. Single tasking also strengthens your brain over time. Focusing deeply engages the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive function planning and decision making. It enhances memory retention because your mind has the opportunity to fully process information instead of bouncing between multiple streams of data. In addition, single tasking reduces stress, allowing your brain to operate in a calm, alert, and efficient state rather than being overwhelmed by constant task switching. Beyond work, single tasking improves relationships too. When you give someone your full attention, you're not just hearing their words, you're truly listening, empathizing, and connecting. Multitasking during conversations sends a signal to your brain that nothing deserves your complete focus, eroding both memory and interpersonal bonds. By being present, you enhance understanding, strengthen communication, and build deeper trust with those around you. Ultimately, the brain thrives when it is allowed to focus, process, and engage fully with one task at a time. Multitasking may feel productive in the short term, but it comes at the cost of mental energy, creativity, and overall brain health. By refusing to multitask and instead practicing intentional single tasking, you protect your focus, sharpen your mind, and create space for meaningful work and deep thought. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and giving it fully to one task at a time is the key to unlocking your brain's full potential. The people and environments we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our brain health, far more than most of us realize. Our brains are highly sensitive to energy, emotions, and social cues. Being around negativity, whether it comes from people, media, or our own thoughts, can drain mental energy, cloud judgment, and even alter the brain's chemistry over time. Negativity is contagious because the brain naturally mirrors the emotions and attitudes of others. When we spend time with pessimistic, critical, or toxic individuals, our brains pick up on their patterns, shaping our mood, behavior, and thought processes. Even subtle criticism or constant complaining can trigger stress responses in the brain, releasing cortisol and other stress hormones that impair focus, memory, and decision-making. It's not always obvious how deeply negativity seeps into our mental state. You may think you can tune it out, but the brain unconsciously absorbs emotional cues from your environment. A single negative interaction can linger in your mind, influencing your confidence and outlook for hours, even days. Repeated exposure creates a mental habit of expecting the worst, assuming limitations, or doubting your own capabilities. This is why protecting your mental space is as important as protecting your physical space. Your brain thrives in environments that are supportive, encouraging, and stimulating in positive ways. Negativity isn't limited to people. It can come from your surroundings, media consumption, or even your own internal dialogue. Constant exposure to negative news, social media comparisons, or toxic workplace cultures floods the brain with stress signals. Over time, this can shrink the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory and emotional regulation, and overactivate the amygdala, the center for fear and anxiety. In other words, chronic exposure to negativity doesn't just make you feel bad, it physically changes the way your brain functions. This is why not-to-do lists for brain health often include avoiding negative influences. Surround yourself with people who lift you, inspire curiosity, and challenge you constructively. Seek relationships where energy is exchanged positively, where encouragement and growth are emphasized over judgment and criticism. Likewise, be mindful of your media consumption. Choose content that informs, uplifts, or educates rather than content that instills fear, envy, or frustration. The brain is constantly processing signals from its environment, and the input you allow shapes your neural pathways. Positive, uplifting stimuli help your brain form connections that increase resilience, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Your own internal dialogue is equally critical. The mind mirrors the attitudes and words you feed it. Negative self-talk, harsh judgment, or constant self-criticism activates the same stress pathways as external negativity. By practicing awareness, reframing thoughts, and cultivating self-compassion, you protect your brain from unnecessary stress. Mental hygiene is as essential as physical hygiene. What you allow in your mind shapes your thoughts, decisions, and even health outcomes. Creating boundaries is a practical way to protect your mental environment. This might mean limiting time with people who constantly complain, setting clear rules for social media use, consciously choosing to disengage from gossip or conflict. It also involves surrounding yourself with environments that stimulate curiosity, creativity, and calm. Simple changes like decluttering your workspace, spending time in nature, or engaging with supportive communities can dramatically enhance brain function. Ultimately, your brain cannot operate at full potential in a toxic environment. By avoiding negativity, you conserve mental energy, sharpen focus, and create space for innovation, learning, and growth. Protecting your mind from harmful influences is not about avoiding reality. It's about choosing which signals you allow to shape your thoughts and emotions. A brain shielded from chronic negativity is healthier, more resilient, and capable of higher performance. Just as you would avoid polluted air for physical health. Avoid emotional and environmental toxins for mental health. If you spend time with the media you consume and the thoughts you nurture all shape the architecture of your mind, so choose them wisely. Your brain's potential depends on it. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. Phones buzz, notifications pop up, emails arrive constantly. Social media competes relentlessly for our attention. Every ping, ding, or vibration interrupts the flow of thought, hijacking focus and fragmenting mental energy. The brain thrives on attention and consistency, yet when we allow ourselves to be pulled in 100 directions at once, we rob it of the very conditions it needs to perform at its best. Digital distractions aren't just inconvenient. They actively impair memory, learning, and problem solving. Every interruption, no matter how brief, requires your brain to stop, reset, refocus. This repeated switching consumes cognitive energy and reduces efficiency more than most people realize. Multitasking with digital devices is especially damaging. Checking your phone while trying to work, answer an email, or hold a conversation splits attention and creates mental noise. Your brain cannot fully engage in more than one demanding task at a time. Even small distractions reduce performance and comprehension. Studies show that people who frequently interrupt themselves to check notifications take longer to complete tasks and are more likely to make errors. It may feel productive to respond instantly or stay updated, but in reality, this habit undermines both focus and creativity. One of the most harmful effects of digital distraction is its impact on memory. The brain encodes information most effectively when attention is deep and sustained. If you are constantly shifting attention between apps, messages, and tasks, the brain fails to store information properly and learning becomes shallow. Important ideas, insights, or connections may slip away unnoticed because your attention is divided. This is particularly critical in creative or problem-solving work where deep